Welcome back everybody to another episode from Whalejaw 3D. In episode 2 of our How to Build a Car in Blender, we're going to actually start modelling. Now if you'd followed the last episode, we would have built up this file here. If you haven't, you probably should go back and watch that episode. I'll put all the links that you need in the description below. You're probably looking at this model and thinking, oh my god, this looks absolutely mental to do. And you're right, it does. I went to bed last night thinking, oh my god, what have I done? But it always ends up being simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is just add a square. So if we press Shift 8, Mesh, and a cube, and we just add a cube for now, yeah? What we can also do is now hide this square, because we don't need it, do it? We're using the images for our sizes. So what we can do is right click and put a new selection. I like to do this at the beginning every time and just call it scene stuff. Scene stuff is like your camera and your floor and say like this box, yeah? So if we select them and just chuck them in there, and then we add another collection. So if we right click and add another one, double click it to rename, and we call this one reference images, and we just get all our reference images using Control to select them all and then just drag them into that folder there. We can now tidy up this area here, yeah? And at any point, we can turn the scene stuff off, yeah? Excellent. And if you remember, if you press 0 or change it to the shortcut, you can still get to this even though you've turned the camera off, yeah? It's just handy to like reset your view so you've got like, you know what I mean, yeah? Another thing that's worth noting is next to your 0 button on your number pad, you've got the dot, the decimal point, haven't you? So if you're, say, like this and you're miles away and you press that dot, it will center the image for you, you know what I mean? Press the dot, it'll bring it back in. And it works on each individual object, so if we say like this, you know what I mean? It'll zoom in on it. It's really handy. You click on that one, if we click on our reference image, press the dot, it's going to put it in the middle at the right scale, yeah? It's handy tools to know. So now we've got our box. We probably can pick a side, say our X, and then press the tab button to enter edit mode. That's also up here for our one-armed men. So if we go into edit mode like this, you can see we've got now a box. If we turn it around, we can see we've got what are called vertices on each corner. This can be reflected with this up here. You have vertices, you have edges. If you select the second one, you can then select these edges here, yeah? And then you also have something called the face, which is the whole face, you know what I mean? So it's basically picking 4 edges, yeah? Or 4 vertices, depending on which mode you're in. These 3 modes can be controlled with the buttons 1, 2, and 3. So if we press 1, it'll put us in verts. If we press 2, it'll put us in edge mode. And if we press 3, we can go into face mode, yeah? These 3 modes are very core fundamental things of Blender. You need to like get used to those. It's nice and easy to remember, 1, 2, 3, and you'll see when you need them. So the next thing that we need to learn as well, say like you've got one vertex selected, but you want to select the one behind it as well, right? So you've got both. We need to be able to see both of them. At the minute, we can. So if we select that and then we move it, you can see we've selected both, can't you? Now, the reason for that is, so we put it back in this mode, into orthographic, you can see up here, this button here, toggle X-ray. If we turn that off and then do the same thing, say like we select that one, and then we turn, you'll notice it's not selected the one behind because we don't have X-ray on. This is going to be important to be toggling this on and off. You can do that with the shortcut by pressing Alt and then Z, and you can basically quickly change between see-through mode. It's a shortcut you really need to get into. You're constantly like checking it and checking it, then checking it, then checking it, you know what I mean? It's a good, useful shortcut. And we need to know these things in order to do what we're doing next. We need to make sure we have X-ray on, so that when we select one of these corners, press G, both of the vertices move, yeah? If we do it with X-ray off and do the same thing, then press G and move, can you see how the one behind stays? That's what we're doing, yeah? So make sure you got X-ray on. And what we need to do is basically simulate this shape here, don't we? Oh, it's a crazy shape. So I'm going to say we're going to go about here, because if we look on our image, if we press camera, you can see in the back, this boot's separate. So I'm assuming that's about where the boot is, yeah? A lot of guesswork involved in this game. I'm going to try and keep it as square as I can, So using the select and pressing G and just moving it around, we're going to try and simulate the shape using basic shapes. So now we've done that, what we need to do is select both of those. It's basically selected a face now, hasn't it? So when we press E for extrude, it will add more faces to that square. Yeah? So we can pull those out to here, check it, make sure it's all right. And then we can select this one here and press G and move it down so we can kind of get it in whereabouts we want. Now, I can see a problem here. We can't see through this object. Why is that? In my display mode at the minute, I have it in something called material mode. We ideally want to be in this one here called viewport shading. So if we select that one, we can now see through our car, can't we? We don't need shading yet. For some reason mine was set there. Yours might not be, but you need to be on shading mode so you can see through it. Yep. So if we now just keep fine tuning what we've got, trying to keep everything as square as you can, basically. So if we come here and we press E again to extrude it to the end of the car, select that top corner, press G, move it down. We're just trying to get the rudimentary shape, aren't we? Yeah. Now we need a bit of a slice here now, don't we? What we can do is press Control and R and then press the left mouse button and then slide, yeah? Once you've got to like around about that area, that corner of that window there, look, if you press the left mouse button again, it'll place it, yeah? So if we quickly select those, press G to move it, and we just eke it down, you know what I mean, there we go. We can see we've kind of got the shape. We could probably add another one here by pressing Control R, adding the loop, using the right mouse button to disengage if you don't want to move in it. I'll just put it in the middle. Select the top one, press the G, and bring it up. If you press G twice, it will follow that predefined, like you can't go up and down, it'll lock it into what you've got. That's a good tip. So if we try and keep them all like nice and square and parallel, we can have a quick preview now. We've kind of got a shape, haven't we? So while we're here, if we turn X-ray off, we can look at this object. A hot tip, if you press /, if you look at my keystrokes, that you can't because my fat head's in the way, again, I'm sorry people, I'm sorry. It's all simple up to here, you should be okay. So a shortcut that's worth mentioning is pressing /. Yeah, can you see it on my screen? That one, on the keystroke. What we can do is isolate that model to this area so that we can make it less crazy on the screen. Yeah, it's a good tool, that one. And what we can see is we have a quad mesh. What do I mean by a quad mesh? One, I'm illiterate and I'm like, we need our mesh to be in all squares. You know what I mean? Like 4 points, 4 vertices, 4 sides. They need to be squares. If we do say something like this, we don't have a square, do we? That's not acceptable when we're using subdivision surface in Blender. With games, it may convert them all into triangles. You may be working differently, but when we're building and designing, we want it to be in a quad mesh so that when we throw a subdivision on it, which I'll explain later, it will work, basically, you know what I mean? And basically, that's what you call a loop. The idea of this is, whenever you select a loop, like that, it'll select the whole square. It'll select the whole line, yeah? These are loops. If we have triangles, it's not going to be a loop, is it? Yeah, so we always keep that in mind. It needs to be quads, basically. It's the best I can help you. So with that in mind, that's why we need to use Control and R, because it's a loop cut tool, yeah? We're putting loops in. So what we can do is just add some more loops, just to define the shape a little bit better by using Control R, bringing them into like the apex of the curve, yeah? And we've kind of got like a similar shape. It's very intimidating, this model, but this is why I picked it. So we've just put one in here as well to just define that shape. We don't want to go in too much depth with the model, you know what I mean? So what we need to do now is probably go to the front mode and start getting it the right width, don't we? So what I'm going to do here now is show you a new trick. We're going to press Control R. It's going to put it bang in the middle. Just press the left mouse button, yeah? And then press the right mouse button and it'll put it in the middle, yeah? With our X-ray turned on, if we select all on the left hand side, press X to delete the vertices. If I turn my X-ray off, you can see we've chopped half of the model away, can't you? Yeah? To make it more obvious, I can flip face orientation. You can see the outside and the inside. From now on, I like this mode. It's called face orientation. It's handy in the future, and I just like the color system, if I'm honest. You know, it's nice and clear this way. So from now on, I'm going to have face orientation on so you understand a bit better. What we need to do now is mirror this shape to make it whole again. Yeah, so we're going to use something called a modifier. That's in this spanner tab here, probably the most used tab in the beginning. And if we go to mirror, we will have mirrored the object, and it will mirror across the origin of the object. Yeah, so if you've moved that object and your mirror's all screwed up, that's why. Yeah, if you need to correct the mirror, you can press Control and A, and you can apply all the transforms, and it'll sort it out for you. That's if your mirrors are going wrong. Yeah, and it should immediately mirror correctly on the x-axis. So now we've got half the job done for us. We can come in, we can grab that side, make sure we got X-ray turned on, and grab all that side, press the G and an X, and just pull it out to the width of the car. Now we can see we've got two different widths here, can't we? We've got the back wheel and we've got the front wheel. For now, I'm just going to go for the front wheel. And looking at it, we should probably incorporate the back wing, shouldn't we? Because the wide arch is probably going to be an extrusion versus than pulling it out, yeah? So shall we now go back to our X view with our gizmo? And we probably should incorporate this, shouldn't we? So if we quickly adjust it, press Control R, add some more loops, bring her up, and try and keep it all quads, you know what I mean? What we obviously can see here, if we bring that up square, we're going to have to do some kind of extrusion with it, aren't we? Yeah. In order to do that extrusion, we're going to have to drop a whole loop across the middle like that, which is not a problem. So if we press Control R and chuck one in the middle, press the right mouse button to center it. We now have something we can work with here, don't we? So if you press GG this time and just lock into the predefined lines, it's a lot easier. Yeah. What we can do now is grab these two here, which should grab the whole face. Yeah. Back to your square mode. If we press E now to extrude, we can extrude it to the end of that area, yeah? And then we just adjust it around to suit what we need. I'm going to put another loop cut in here, but before I press the left mouse button, I'm going to scroll the mouse wheel. That can make more that, you know what I mean? It can increase it, it can decrease it. I'm going to put 2 in, probably going to want 2. And we just start adjusting these vertices into place. I think we're going to need one more, aren't we? So we grab that one. We come up here, grab that one, and come up here. We can see we've still got all squares, can't we? Yeah? That's what we want. We really need that. We need to somehow figure this area out here as well, don't we? So if we press GG on that, just to bring it in, GG on that, GG on that. We can see we're probably going to need to extrude this area here as well, don't we? So select those two vertices, press E again, pull it out, and then just go in and adjust. Now, here's a hot tip. We're selecting all these vertices, aren't we? With the W key, or you want our man's button here, we can change what type of selection tool we have. We can have the draggy box, we can have it's like a paintbrush, you know what I mean? So you can just go around and paintbrush them on. This is quite handy for X-ray view. You press it again, you've got you can draw your own little box around it. Or this one is just like individual, you're just pinching each individual one. Sometimes I like the paintbrush mode one like this, so you can just easily grab them, you know what I mean? Just click them, it's a nice big area. So if we press G, we've kind of got a rudimentary shape, haven't we? We could probably go in and refine that later on, but we just want the basic shape. We can see here it's a bit messy, so if we now try and tidy this up, the idea is kind of even it all out. Get used to your little shortcut keys as well. Yeah, you can see this one seems a bit crazy here, so we might as well match these into our wheel arch, haven't we? Which is up here. Probably gonna have to put another loop cut in there. Should we put one in? Put another loop cut in here, adjust it into place, and then we can probably just now try and tidy things up with straight lines, yeah? Using GG. That one here can probably come over. And just try and be as tidy as you can, basically, you know what I mean? Try and keep everything nice and level. Like here it's going to fan out, you know what I mean? You can't help it. But the more attention you put into this stuff, the better your model comes out, you know what I mean? Probably put 2 in there just to keep the curve nice. And this is pretty much most of modelling, really. Let's go around, tweaking verts. It's all simple stuff. We can see we're going to need a few in here, aren't we? So if we press Control R and we scroll her up just to match it. We can always take them out if we want to later date. Just go in, tidy them up. And as you can see, after we've tidied those up, it flows in lovely with our like little splitter line, don't it? So we can just pull this in and it's going to help us like define that shape, you know what I mean? So press G there, pull it out a little bit. We're going to need more obviously, but for now we've got our rudimentary shape. We can start to see it coming, can't we? Lovely, jubbly. So if we jump into our front view, we can see we need to start like refining it in, can't we? I never noticed this scoop here. You see that? That's the craziest thing. I never noticed the scoop before. This is the best thing about modelling. You notice such intricate details. It's crazy. So I feel like I'm going to concentrate on this area here, creating this shape up to this point here. Yeah? Which means we need to be pulling these ones over, don't we? We need to turn our X-ray off so that we're only selecting one. These few here, I could teach you a new trick here. These 4 verts, they need to come in on the front. There's many ways to select them. Here's one. We kind of want these 4 vertices, don't we? So if you press one of the vertices and you want to draw a line to the next, like the end point of that area, you can press that one and then hold Control and press the end of the vertice and it'll find the shortest route to that area. That's a good selection tip trick. So if we go back to our front view and put our X-ray on, we can move these now. If we put our widget on, this is why it's nice. I like my widget. We can start to like pull them in. We know the first one's going to want to kind of like be here, don't we? So if we just pull them in so we can see them, and then use Alt-Z just so you can see what you're doing. We know that these 2 need to come back out a little bit more, don't we? I think there's 4. Put your Alt-Z on again. We need to pull it out to like that area, don't we? Now if we look at a model, see that one didn't follow. So pull that one out there. And then kind of use your eyeballs. And we're probably going to have to like pull these ones in a little bit, I think. We're going to have to do this the hard way. So if we select one at a time and kind of like pull it down, you know what I mean? This is why Alt-Z is very useful. Yeah? And we can kind of see it taking shape. So pull that corner and just evenly place them out. Yeah? And we can kind of see that we're coming up to an area. Transitions, if we check our X view, so we're at this point. We need to do the center points, don't we? We need to kind of like match these in. So what we can do is just eyeball it in. I mean, the blueprints are a guide. You kind of like, you've got to use your eyes at some point. So if we come back into this view here. But looking at this side view, it looks absolutely crazy. So if we just pull these back up, so we know we've kind of got the shape, don't we? And there we go. We're kind of getting our shape, aren't we? The blueprints on the front seem completely mad, but if we pull this over here, I think I can see what's going off. What we need is a loop cut down the middle, don't we? So if we just press Control off a loop cut, you see you've got yourself a loop cut. Yeah? Straight down the middle. Now what we can do with this is press S for scale, and then press X, and then 0. It'll square it all off, like make it all neat and tidy for us, yeah? So if we go back into this front view, we can see we need to isolate this area, can't we? Yeah? So let's quickly just marry those in. You can see why I like the gizmo. If we just get it round about, keep checking your real one, and we'll knock this down. It feels like they need knocking down a little bit. And we can see this middle bit needs to be relative to that circle, don't we? My plan was to delete that area and just add in something else later on. So if we just, for now, just level them off, you know what I mean? Just for, yeah, it's kind of like that. Go into X view. Yeah, these ones here, if we select them, they need to be lower out of the way, don't they? They need to be out of the way. This line here is the one that we need to match to our blueprint. So if we pull that one up there, pull that one up there, pull that one up there, pull that one up there. You'll learn with modelling, it's kind of like a puzzle, and you learn to enjoy it, you know what I mean? So we've somewhat got that shape, haven't we? I'm starting to wonder if these blueprints are duds, but you know what I mean? But I feel like these as well also need to be very close to that area, because it's a flat top. So if we just quickly bring these up like that, we've got more of a flat surface, haven't we? Now, I'm going to do something. What we're going to do is going to get that whole center line there. I'm going to press delete on the vertices, press X and delete the vertices. That way we can just see a lot better that shape, you know what I mean? Because we can see it's a separate shape. That middle one's going to be like its own shape, I think, in the end. So for now, if we just ditch the vertices to make it a lot simpler to see, yeah, we can then start truly matching in our areas a lot better, you know what I mean? So let's start to build the rest of the car then. So if we come in here, remove these down, because these are obviously now part of the side, aren't they? So I didn't say this one was going to be easy, you know what I mean? There we go. We've got that like side chunk now. We can see that that fin dives off. So we're looking in our front view now. You can see that this chunk here is probably going to be like here, can't we? So if we start to just pull that area in, you know what I mean? So whereabouts we think it needs to be. If we grab those last two as well and just pull them up, just to fill in that area. Now we can see we're probably going to have to do the same for this area here, can't we? So if we just, I'm going to freehand it a bit there because it got a bit crazy from my view. Alright, we start bringing it in, yeah? We know, close that off, we know we need to do these ones as well, don't we? So using our GG tool, just get them round about visually, and then we can square off and have a look. Use this tool here, just kind of get them round about. Now we start fiddling around with it. What's the back doing? We just need to, we've got like a line down here, haven't we? So if we just move these ones in, as you can see, we selected too many there. So if we press Control and then select them, you can like unselect them a bit there, and then we can just bring it over like that. Yeah, these probably need to come over as well. Okay. Yeah, that seems about right, doesn't it? Maybe not those three. Pull those ones over. Like I say, you have to keep going in, tweaking it. But we're getting there. We are getting there. I would have thought it was going to be easy. You can keep coming in and you'd be like, that don't look right. You can figure it out for yourself, kind of thing. They're going to have to be like refined in a bit, aren't they? You know what I mean? Just keep fine tuning it. So we've kind of got a rudimentary shape, haven't we? We can now probably have a look in our top view. That would help a lot, actually. After all that, we can see that the top ones are miles off, can't we? So we need to pull those ones in, pull those ones in. And this is the puzzle of modelling, basically. You're just flipping around. You can go into the 4-square view, but I'm not keen on it myself. I mean, I'm a hobbyist. It's like you play racing games. You put it in third-person view because it's just stylish. So that might split off into a different. So we're on the back wing now. I'm going to say not so much on these ones. So like up to this one here, they kind of need to be in, don't they? So what I feel like I'm going to do here is we're going to do our little selection trick from that vertex there all the way to this one here. We hold Control and you'll see it's took the shortest route, which is the wrong one. So what we need to do is reselect it, then find the apex, select there with Control, and then select there with Control. So we've created a path. What we're going to do now is we're going to fill this area with the F button. So press F and it'll fill it. You know what I mean? This is a temporary fill. The geometry is terrible in a minute, but we'll sort it later on, you know what I mean? We just need to define that bat wing, you know what I mean? And just keep tidying it up, you know what I mean? It's kind of something like it. We're just building the rudimentary shapes at the minute, aren't we? So that now what we can do is with this, if we say select that vert there, and we come down to, say that one, just for now, and we press E to extrude and then press X, just to give us something to work with, yeah? And what we can probably do with this then is connect it to this one here. So if we press M to merge, we're going to merge it on the last one we clicked, yeah? You can either go on the first or the last or in the center. So I'm going to say at the last. And we've got a better shape now, haven't we? So if we go to our top view, we've got that extra geometry that we need, haven't we? So we could probably bring it down, start fitting it in. And if we press Control R, you'll notice it's only doing a loop cut on that one area because we've got bad geometry, but that's not a problem. For now, we just want to build some shapes, you know what I mean? Yeah? So we've got that there. Now we could probably select the edge pressing 2, select that edge, and then press E to extrude that one as well. Kind of put it somewhere like, press 1 to bring your verts back up so you can select them. And then try and like fit it in the best you can. We can see that needs to come way down there, can't we? And using that. Yeah. Obviously it needs to come down maybe. Don't know. You got to check your views, haven't you? He looks a bit rogue. Let's stick him back in. and slowly but surely, you'll start to build the shape, you know what I mean? So what we could probably do, to be honest, is if we select all those, but not that one, select that edge, we might be able to, if we press E and then on the X, pull it out like that, actually close the shape, you know what I mean? So just for the sakes of showing you the trick, remember if you press scale with the S button, then press X and then 0, it will like flatten it off. It'll, you know what I mean, square it off to the X axis. If you want to do it the other way, the Y or the Z, you can. Right handy tool for cars. What we can do now is check up on our mirror. Our mirror doesn't have clipping on at the minute. Clipping basically means like it magnetically closes. So when you pull it in, it'll like click, and then you can't go any further. Once you let go, it's locked in. You know what I mean? You can't move it. It's basically glued together now. That's what clipping is. You need that clicked on when your geometry meets in the middle. If not, you don't need it. Yeah. So it's starting to come together into our shape. So if we go back to our top view, press see through, we can start seeing we need to like make some kind of roof for it, don't we? So definitely can pull that one over there. I can pull this one back a bit here. Now, just to confirm what the roof looks like. It looks like it's got a double window there. Must be a vent or something. That's interesting. What's that area there then? I'm assuming that's the window there. It's probably got... Yeah, I can just see it. You can just see it. There, look. Right. So that's how... That's why you need your reference. So, knowing this, what we can do is... We need to ideally extrude upwards, don't we? So, from... But we need to close... the geometry up to here. So if we say select those ones there and we extrude it to the X and just chuck them in the middle, we can probably then pull them down like that and shrink them in. Yeah, bring that up there like that. Can chuck in probably 2 more loop cuts, just like help round it off. That couldn't have been more perfect. There you go. And we've kind of got like the front shape, haven't we then? Yeah. What we probably need to do here is also tidy up this side geometry, you know what I mean? If you just press GG, so you don't have to keep going into the side view. GG, GG, and just make it as neat and square as possible. You can do it for 2 at once if you want. You know what I mean? Modelling is a quick process when you know all the shortcuts. It is enjoyable. It's very relaxing, I think. So... we might need to do that again now for this one here as well, because we need another line there, don't we? So if we select that whole unit there, we should be able to extrude and then scale it, you know what I mean? Just so that it's all connected, that the idea of this is we're going to tidy up ourselves anyway. So put our verts back on, we can now come in and just tidy them up, you know what I mean? That was the quickest way of doing that without having to merge them and stuff like that. So we've got ourselves an area, aren't we? Now what we've created here is a triangle. We don't want triangles. It's bad typology. So what we're going to do... Oh no, we don't. There it is. Look, there's your 4th one. Safe. Always be keeping an eye on your squares. Gotta be square, man. So now we've got that. We also ideally need to define this shape here, don't we? To separate the window with. So if we chuck a loop cut in, we're probably going to want to... Here's a loop cut selection trick. We probably want to move all of one of those loops now, don't we? So if you hold Alt and click one of the loops, it'll select that whole loop, yeah? We're going to need to do that for this. And then once you've moved that loop, select the individual one and put it into the areas that you want, yeah? Like that, like that. We can define this shape a little bit more. We're going to get pretty clogged on geometry there pretty quick, I think. So let's do it anyway. If we put another loop cut in there, move that one to help that shape, bring her in, put another loop cut in here, do the same, select that front face one. We can come in, pull that one up there, and we've got that shape around here now, haven't we? Yeah, this shape here, we've defined it, which is awesome. It's not very flat, it's not very good. Let's go around, tickle her in, you know what I mean? I call this noodling. When we used to be painting, you're doing the last bit, the last 20% that takes 80% of the time. We used to call it noodling. So once you've done your noodling, probably look at this geometry at the back and think, oof, God, you know what I mean? That's pretty messy. So using our click one vert, press control and select the shortest route, we can like kind of spread them out so they're not too tight. So we don't want them too tight. Want a nice even spread. Yeah, there we go. Lovely. So now we've done that, we can probably start thinking about pulling this shape here. I feel like I've done it all wrong, but we're going to try it. So using control, select that area. Let's extrude it up. That pointy bit there doesn't need to be pointy at the bottom, does it? I've just done. If anything, it needs to be perfectly smooth. It just defines the area of separation, doesn't it? So, we'll go into this one now. What we need to do is probably scale that down, don't we? We need to line it all up. The best thing to do when modelling is don't get overwhelmed when you're looking at it, going, oh my god, how do I make that? Just plow through it. Just start doing it and it eventually makes sense, you know what I mean? It squares at the end of the day. Eventually you just be like, well, it's the only way it can go, you know what I mean? It becomes obvious once you start plowing through. So if we just tidy those up there, look, don't know why they're not central on that side. What's going on there? My mirror's not very good. So we can pull that up there, tidy that up. Now we've got to make sense of this area here, haven't we? I think this one needs to be pulled up. I don't know. Looks pretty smooth to me. I'm assuming that's just your separation point there, you know what I mean? So if we pull them all the way up to the tops, because that's what they're there for, you know what I mean? They're there to... Nope, can't use that one. No, I think that's for like... Go to the side of it. Yeah, there we go. This is to define... Oh my gosh. We need to sort this roof out, don't we? So, what we can do is just quickly sort these out. Yeah, that one's to define that, isn't it? That's for the roof. So that's going to be like our separation point for our roof, isn't it? It makes sense now. So if we just pull that one up, we can make it a bit more tidy. I mean, just keep checking your images. It comes together eventually, you know what I mean? What's going on with this one? There it is. So we have a triangle there. I think this is why it's hurting my brain. There's a square there, there's a square there. No, we're squares. I feel like we need to chase around this geometry. It's a little bit crazy here. So if we press K, here's a new tool for the knife tool. What this can do is cut you a new path. So if we just cut away, because we're going to need that rim anyway. Okay. Come to the middle, I think that's the middle, yep. And once you're done, press the right mouse button to stop the cut, and then press enter. And it'll add that geometry there for you, which now makes a triangle. This is why I was seeing a triangle. So if we press 2 to select an edge, we can now select this one. We need to make it a 4, don't we? Even though it is a 4 at the minute, it's just not a very nice 4. So what we need to do then is carry it over, and we need to do this, I think. We've got to make a quad, and that's the only way. And that's now we can get rid of this by dissolving the edge. We don't want to disrupt the thing. If you press that, it'll delete the whole geometry. We only want to dissolve it. So if we dissolve it, we've now got a square there and a square there. Yeah? This is a bad square. It's a bad square. I don't like it. And I think the issue might be if we press GG, just run that in a bit better like that. It don't work. We've got to tidy it up somehow. We need to even out that geometry there. So if we come in like this, we try and like pull us. I mean, just keep switching and changing your views. Eventually you get there. Now, if we do a front view, because I can see that roof's a bit, yeah, it's miles off. We just pull that roof down to there. We can see it's starting to look like something, can't we? If we put in this view, hey, we're getting somewhere, aren't we? So it's just a game now of refinement, because obviously those blueprints, just the outlines are like 20 mil thick, so you've got to come in and like kind of sort it out yourself. I enjoy it personally. Bit of noodling. Still bothers me though, this area. But it is a quad, so it just hurts the eyes to look at. It's like this one, we can bring this way over there, can't we? Just keep tweaking until you're happy. This is kind of why I've never really filmed a how to do a car episode, because there is a lot of noodling involved, you know what I mean? So I think I'm happy with that now anyway. So what we can do now is we can press Alt and select that whole loop there, can't we? If we just press F and quickly fill it, just to give us an idea of what it looks like, you know what I mean? And we can see it's all kinds of wonky in it. So what we can do is press Scale, Z, and 0, just to square it off. Now what we can do is just pull it up so you can see it, and then rotate it to like kind of match that angle. Pull it back down and get it on top, you know what I mean? And there you go, you've made it flat, you know what I mean? You can do the same with this really, but now we've got that flat surface, so we can probably like fine tune this into that flat surface, you know what I mean? You could probably do the scale S thing on it, but I spent a lot of time getting them like in place, you know what I mean? So I don't want to mess with it again. Just always go around, tidy up any like unsquared geometry. And I think we've got ourselves a roof, haven't we? A rudimentary roof. We're getting an idea of that shape. So what should we tackle next? What does the rear look like? Should we do the rear? We're already there, aren't we? So if we turn that view off, we can start to have an idea. If we start selecting all three at once, just to get it round about. This blueprint from the rear is terrible. What line am I going for? If you press your camera button, you can quickly go back. Right, it's got a fat edge on it. If you press camera again, it returns. So that is a fat edge. So if we bring them up there, we know that we've had other objects selected then. So start again, press this one, and do the control selection. And we press G and a Z. We can bring them up and select that one, bring that down there for the fat edge. There was no reason to move that one, was there? So if we just go for the old classic, move one at a time, because we only need, where is it, that one, and just wind them in. And hopefully it's nice and simple for you up to get, you know what I mean? We've not got too crazy. Pull that one down there. Now let's check this one. This one we might need to fill this area. Let's have a look at our reference. Our references are in a terrible location. Which one is it? That one. If we tab back out, click on the empty, even though it's an image, we can just touch it up. Like that. Click our object, press tab, go back in. So we have got like a flat edge there, haven't we? So what we need to do is press the I button so you zoom in a bit better. We need to make sure that, say, this area here is filled. Yeah, so we'll press F to fill, just to give us an idea. And you can check your reference image, and that back bar is just a thin bar that disappears into it, doesn't it? So I do believe all of these here need to come all the way out, because that's actually like a chunky rimmed edge. There we go, that's the rim edge I was looking for. We can see that this here eventually needs to go into there, don't it? So, and it's also a triangle, so we don't want that anyway. Interesting. If we put a loop in there, we might be able to define it a bit better. Yeah, so it's kind of like coming in a bit there now. It makes sense, doesn't it? That's what we've got to do. Bring that one forward a bit there, like that. We need to fix that geometry there. So we just knife in what we want using the key tool. Just knife it in so we can get an idea of what we want. We definitely know we want a flat edged area, don't we, there? So if we pull it up, pull it down, define that flat edge. We can see it's going a bit screwy on here, can't we? So what we might be able to do is now pull that into that corner. It should be okay for now. And what we need to do is add a geometry point into this as well here, don't we? So if we press the knife, and just for now, put one in, just to make sure it works, you know what I mean? And what we could do with this one is select that one, using the shift key, select the other one, press M, and merge it to the last. And you basically joined it into that geometry, haven't you? Yeah? So what we can do now is probably define that edge a bit better, pull it forward, like this, pull it to your side, so it kind of like blends in. Using your GG, you can, once you've got it close, let's get it roundabout for now, we're guessing, aren't we? So if we go into this part here again, and start refining this like back area, how are we going to do that? Yeah, we're getting there, This here seems to need to be like that, doesn't it? Yeah. Eyeball it in once you've got the measures in, you know what I mean? If we go into our top view, make sure we're alright, we can see we've got a bit of a fancy curve going on here. This is why I like this Batmobile. It's got some beautiful shapes to it. It's the best looking Batmobile. After that, they started going like this modernistic, flat panelled thing. And like, yeah, man. I always like curves in my cars. Yeah, so we can see now, if we look at, select these ones here, and go to the top view, you can see they kind of need to come out, don't they? Like to there. Now, if we pull them out and then check how it looks, we can probably say we need to pull those ones in as well, don't we? If we pull them in, you can see it's upsetting all the geometry, like that fizz in there. It's not a problem. If we just now marry in the rest, you know what I mean, it should be alright. Yeah. So while we're here, we probably should fix that geometry as well, shouldn't we? So if we just pull it round, press enter, you've got yourself what we're probably going to need that point, you know what I mean, at some point going down somewhere. But for now, if we just leave it there where it's accessible, we can now marvel at what we've made. I'm going to pull this in over here as well. It feels like that should kind of marry in, shouldn't it? Push it forward a little bit. Yeah, it's all starting to look about right, isn't it? You know what I mean? So this line here, I'm going to select this whole line. I'm going to do the old scale X on the 0 just to flatten it out because it's bugging me. If we look from the top, it's actually done a lovely job. I'm just going to leave it like that. It's nice and straight. You know what I mean? I don't want it. Probably should do that for this as well. Select more, scale X, 0. It'll just give you a lovely. And then just go in and fix it all. Yeah. Oh, it's all coming together now, boys, isn't it? Look at that. We've got a bit of a back end coming along. What's this straight line edge here? Really shouldn't be like that, should it? Almost feels like the back end is missing the hump. It is. Yeah, so I've got to bring all this up now. So if we kind of eyeball it for now. So when we go into the side view, we can see the verts better. That's it. Now that's the roof scoop, obviously, isn't it? What we need to do is just kind of level off that area there. There is like kind of a bit of a hump on the thing there. I don't know, it's kind of a mile off, isn't it? So the scoop comes after the lid. So we need to get those two. Just move them there. These here, we can flatten these down. Because I don't think we're going to even see them anyway. So if we just mash them down a bit. And then pull that away so it doesn't make such a sharp edge, you know what I mean? And I really do feel like we could probably chuck. What would happen if I did this? It would make a triangle here. If we press 2 on that one and dissolve that edge, have a 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got ourselves a square. With that one there, we'll probably GG it, smooth it out. Like that. Yeah? It's all about just refining it. So, side view, we're going to ignore that because we need to kind of like pull that out. We just need to get that top edge to look about right. You know what I mean? What happens if I pull that? There. Yeah, there we go. Pull these in. Smooth them out. And you're starting to get the shape. Now the boot, this needs to be a lot more less savage, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Is it humpy? It's kind of a 45-degree angle, you know what I mean? So we could probably get these ones, pull them down a bit. Yeah? Pull. Oh, we need another loop cut there or something, don't we? Or do we? Does that just need to come over there like that? I think that's the one. Yeah. Probably bring those up. See what I mean? You just end up eyeballing it anyway. So I feel like this episode I should probably not go any further. Let you get to this, like, because this is like a massive modelling challenge for you now. You know what I mean? Just going around, getting used to the buttons, because you can see how like quickly I'm tackling stuff. You know what I mean? I shouldn't need to be calling out anything anymore. It's a game of perception and just aim to get squares, you know what I mean? If you see a triangle, kill it. Kill it like the plague. And then always try and make sure that if you do a cut, carry that cut on, you know what I mean? Like we can take it to there. And this one, we're going to have to carry it up here, which keeps our squares. Yeah. And then you've got your loop cuts, basically. You can select some loop cut, loop cut, loop cut. And you've got this guy here that's like a troublesome one. But he has 4, so we're good. And these are the issues you're going to have, because you'll be like, oh, I need to make it square, but that's doing that, and it'll blow your box. So now I've got this extra geometry, we can obviously refine it in a little bit more. It needs to be more rounded, doesn't it? So if we start pulling it down a bit more extreme. Don't forget you can use GG once you know you've got kind of the shape you want and you're just smoothing things off. Just use GG, you know what I mean? GG boys, GG. And then always try and tidy up your geometry after. So if you're using GG, you know it's going to pull it downhill towards that other one, you know what I mean? While it's keeping you in around about the same area. The GG button is amazing. If I've taught you anything this episode, it's the GG. GG boys. GG. So comment below. How are you getting on? Are you too intimidated to start this, or you know what I mean? I'm getting there. I feel like I've got to a point where you're like, yeah, he's gonna do this. You know what I mean? So I'm happy. How long have we been filming? Let's have a look. Where do I look? We've been going an hour and 20 minutes, so this is going to be a very long episode. I feel like we've completed the basic shell, haven't we? The next thing I want to tackle is this, and probably sealing up the bottom for you. Yeah? But I need a bum break. My bum's killing me now, so looking at that. I still want to tweak, but if we leave you at this, because you could literally be sat here for hours tweaking this now, you know what I mean? So we probably should do a nice separation, you know what I mean? Because it's the same stuff from the next bit's the complicated, but you know what I mean? If you're new, you probably had a mirror up to you, you know what I mean, trying to follow this, so just get yourself caught up and join me in the next episode. And thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck. Soon we're going to have a Batmobile. You know what? The only reason I'm doing this is because nobody has ever painted a Batmobile any other colour than black. And I just want to see a white Batmobile. You know what I mean? A red one, a yellow one. I don't know. So we're going to modify in the end. We're going to like put some cool mods on it and stuff like that. We're going to make it our own. Because by law, this is like a copyrighted car and I won't be able to give it away at the end. So we must, once built it, change it. You know what I mean? So we're going to make our own Batmobile. It's going to be the Whaley-mobile. Whale-Jaw-mobile. It's going to be Batman started up his own car company, tuning company, and he now just makes Batmobiles on the side because he's too old to be saving the day and stuff. So it's like, you know, them rally car Fiestas you can buy. You can also buy Batmobiles. So I'm getting myself like an RS Batmobile together. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I bet it's a really long one, this one. But if you want to learn, this is what it takes. So thanks for watching. See you in a bit. Bye. Like, subscribe. Cheers. Bye.